Hello and welcome to the Stateside Soccer Show. My name is Jordan Wiegand. With me today is Mr. Logan Stump.
Hello there.
And I hope everyone's having a happy Memorial Day weekend, if you're here in the U.S., I guess. Hope everyone is enjoying the 3-day weekend if you have it. And if not, I hope we can get you through your commute or your work day or whatever you may be filling your day with. Logan, it was a very busy weekend for soccer, as always. Just overall, not just stateside stuff. We had the Champions League final. We had the Liga MX Clausura final. We had promotion playoffs. We had Americans abroad doing things. So we'll be getting into all of that. But how was your soccer-filled weekend here and your holiday weekend? How was it?
Yeah, I mean, it was long. It felt good to get at least today off because it's nice to have the 3-day break. And then we go back in for 2 days. We have graduation tomorrow, so it's gonna be a crazy week just because graduation and then Wednesday's our final day, getting our rooms all set for summer, and then heading off for summer, and then heading into England because we leave Friday. So busy week for me, but it felt like this weekend was just I don't know. It was like a continuation into this week. So while it was very action-packed with a lot of soccer, I got to see a lot of the games. It was also extremely busy because we also had other stuff going on too. I mean, we had Stranger Things come out. Obi-Wan was on Friday. Yeah. Finished the second episode today. So a lot of viewing and stuff, at least on my end. So
yeah, I've got 2 episodes of Stranger Things left. I've got I already recorded my Obi-Wan recap. That's up. I recorded my Star Wars Celebration recap this morning. That's up on the Pod Awakens. So, yeah, been a busy 3-day weekend for me. After this, I'm going to my parents, and I'm going to my in-laws. So, hoping I can finish Stranger Things tonight. We'll see. Because I also have some busy times coming up here as well. You're going to England. I got Oscar, for people that don't know, has a surgery on Wednesday. And then the following week is the 4th, I'm going to Pittsburgh for a baseball game. The 5th, my sister's in town. We're getting lunch. The 7th, I'm taking the boys to a Oriole game. I'm off on the 8th, so I'll probably be doing some stuff around then. Then the 9th, I'm seeing Jurassic World. Then the 12th, I'm going to see Paul McCartney. So busy stretch coming up here. So this international break could not happen at the best time right now. We'll be slowing down on some of the MLS coverage because of that. So I think I'm just going to do the show next week by myself because there's not going to be a lot to talk about. We're going to talk some U.S. men's stuff, of course, but we'll be talking the June 1st game and the June 5th game. So we won't even have to worry about Nations League yet at that point. Oh, yeah, Nations League. No, yeah, we have the friendly. Nations League starts for Costa Rica, though. Our Nations League starts on the 10th. So I guess that's what I'm doing on the 10th then. But yeah, so busy time coming up here. So it's nice for MLS to have checked with us when they were making the schedule, so that way we can not miss a lot of games here. Are you gonna try to? When do you go? Friday?
Yeah, Friday.
What time do you leave?
5 p.m.
Okay, so you're gonna arrive Saturday morning over there.
Yeah, we'll be there Saturday morning at 10:30. Well, we get to Dublin at 10:30, and then Manchester at 11:30. Nice. And then we're gonna head straight to York. I do think I'm gonna be able to see at least some of the stadiums, not inside, tour, but we're actually staying out by Stamford Bridge. So north of Stamford Bridge. Also, we're gonna go out where Brentford play, out in Brentford Community. Okay. And then we're gonna be near the Emirates for one of them, and then what else? There was another one that we're going to be close to. I can't remember who it is, but there's somebody else in London. I think it was a smaller club, but we're going to be near their stadium as well. So, Craven's Cottage too. We'll be near Craven's Cottage for a couple.
Oh, cool.
Like there's like that little, that's a little crowded area over there near that section of London. It's like all the teams in the Prem.
So here's what I want you to do. Make sure you get tons of video and make a vlog.
For the Prem?
Yeah, we can just put it on Stateside YouTube or whatever. But if you go to stadiums, get a lot of video or pictures, and we can put something together.
We're going to be really close to Leeds. I thought about
That's awesome.
driving over and seeing Brenden, but
bring me back a jersey with Brenden Aaronson's name on it.
I know. I'm excited. I wanted to kind of get. I might still do it depending on when I can get over there. But I might get a U.S. men's national team kit to wear over there. But I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say because Sunday they'll be playing at 5:00. That would be like 11, I think, p.m. UK time. They probably don't even have the game on over there, but that'll be fun. I'll be updating you, I guess, on how it's going. But we have promotion playoffs, like I mentioned. Ethan Horvath came on for the last few seconds due to an injury to the goalkeeper for Nottingham Forest. And they got promoted to the English Premier League, Logan. So we have another American over there if he stays at Nottingham, I guess. But they're a 2-time UEFA Champions League winner who've been kind of stuck in the lower leagues for about 20 years, kind of like a Leeds United type story. They're finally coming up. I've done some, like FIFA careers of them, trying to get them up before. It's nice to see them back. So congrats, Ethan Horvath. On that, we alluded to it too, the Brenden Aaronson. That's official now. I'm not sure if we talked about it last week or if it was official when we talked last week, but he's officially a Leeds player. And Weston McKennie, Logan, linked to Spurs. Would that be a good move for Weston?
I think so. Like I think he'd do fine under Conte. It'll be interesting though because I know he kind of plays like that similar spot in which Son plays. So that would be my biggest concern. Like Son kind of plays like that weird like center forward Bruno Fernandes role where he kind of operates ahead or right behind Harry Kane, which I'm not sure Harry Kane will be there much longer. So maybe I don't know. Maybe Son moves further up, or they fall. They go to a false nine or whatever it might be. But I mean, if it's going to be a Prem team, like I'd prefer it be somebody like Tottenham and not somebody like United. I know that sounds strange, but I like what Conte can do, and I think that would translate well. Playing kind of Italian style football and having Weston come back over to a team where I think that. I think they could use him, and I think the skill set is tremendously high. So I don't know. I like it. I think Tottenham are going to be a top 4 to 5 team usually, but I don't know. It'll be interesting if Harry Kane leaves. Then it kind of sucks for him if he comes over. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how does he play with Son. Can he get a lot of experience through Conte and playing well. And how healthy is he?
I'm kind of torn on it a bit. Just because Conte had to be kind of convinced to stay. So I'm a little worried that he'll end up in a situation where he comes over here, he plays, and then maybe Conte leaves and then another manager comes in and doesn't want to, it can be kind of tough in that way. That's kind of just how it is, I guess, for when you're over in Europe anyway. So who knows, right? But I'm hoping he just kind of stays at Juve, but we'll see, I guess. We will see. We got some reports that Adam Buxa has played his last game for the Revs, Logan, and that he is looking to move to I don't know how to say it in French, but RC Lens. So that is where he seemingly is going. Apparently they were asking for $10 to $15 million for him last year. It seems like maybe he is going for a little less than that. I saw some Revs accounts quoting $6 million. But look, you're not gonna be able to hold him. I guess he didn't play this weekend. He's been seen over in Italy. Over in France. I think making the move. So I'm not really sure. I think it might be done. I think we're just waiting for official word here. But he is looking to try to make the Polish World Cup team. So that's a good move for him, right? You think that'll be a good move?
Yeah, if he's trying to make an international club, I think going to league, is that Ligue 1? Are they in Ligue 1? There are they? Yeah. I think it's good for him in the sense that I think he's earned it based off of his play over here over the last couple of years. I will say it's very damaging for the Revs. I was just looking. Carlos Gil's the second leading scorer with 3 goals. So they're losing Buxa, who I think even when he's not scoring, he's creating chances to where I think he's giving other guys chances at goal. And I think he holds up play pretty well and kind of distributes as a pretty distributive 9. But it's like, is that league too big for him? I think that's always a concern when people move from MLS. How exactly does that fit? What kind of role does he have when he steps into maybe a starting position over there? He is 26. He's just turning 26. So I think it's the right time. Like, I think this is the time when some of these clubs, you start to get a guy that's right in the middle of his prime. And as he goes over the next couple of years, you're going to get a good player. I think it's a good move for him. I think the Revs are going to get some cash for it. What they do with the DP spot now will be interesting. I don't know. I'm assuming they knew that this was coming eventually. So then you and I talked about this, how many of the Revs would be left come, the transfer deadline. And that starts in June. So I think you're going to see even more of them start to kind of shuffle that way. You're going to see Matt Turner leave and head off to Arsenal. You're going to see Buxa leave. I know Bo's been rumored. Honestly, I could see Carlos Gil eventually moving on. Not right now, but I know he's a little older. But I think it's a good move for Adam. Do it while you can. We always talk about this with the U.S. guys. Do it while you can. Like, this is a dream for so many of these players. And I think he's finally gotten to a level where he can do it. So good for him. Not good for the Revs. I think, the Revs are kind of scuffling at the moment, trying to find a playoff spot. And they just, I guess the Sounders are kind of playing. They're just not getting their footing. So it should be interesting. What do you think? You like the move for him?
Yeah, like you said, he's 25. He's going to turn 26 here in about 40 some days or so. He's got 7 goals already for the year. He's got 2 assists. Last year he finished with 16 goals, 3 assists. That was the highest he had in his career. When he played in Poland in 2018-2019, he had an 11-goal season with 3 assists. Then he had a 7-goal season. He came over to the U.S. and had a 6-goal season, then the 16, then the 7 that he currently has. So, like you said, it's probably the time to move and make that adjustment. It's just I just wonder, what his pace. I'm not sure what his pace is like for this season right now. His XG for this year is 3.7. Last year it was 16.3 and ended up with 16 goals. He's got more than 3 goals right now, obviously. So I'm not sure if that's just a fault of New England playing poorly this year. Probably the case. But when you look at the stats, last year looks like a big jump from any of the other seasons he's ever played. So I'm not sure which one is the real Buxa, I guess. But I do want to say Lens, I know I'm pronouncing that probably wrong, had finished 7th in Ligue 1 last year. They had 62 points, which was 4 points short, Logan, of making 5th place, which would have been for the Europa Conference League spot in Ligue 1. So, hey, if he can get them 4, 5 more, 6 more points due to his goals, maybe they can make the Europa Conference League, and maybe they can start making a jump up. But, PSG won the league with 86 points. Marseille was 71 points in 2nd, so a big gap there. Monaco was 3rd and 69th. Rennes was 4th with 66, and Nice was 5th with 66. So you had Strasbourg in 6th with 63. Then you have Lens in 7th with 62. Lyon Logan finished all the way in 8th with 61 points. So you would assume they might jump back up a bit. And Saint Etienne, of course, got relegated and had all their fans storm the field. And that was, they're a very historical club. So did Bordeaux get relegated. So, just kind of like the French league is in a weird spot right now.
Yeah.
So hopefully he goes there and has a good time. I think it's a tough league to really make an impact if you're not one of those top teams. So, obviously his idea is get on the radar. He's got called into camps before, but really, make an impact to have a chance to make in that World Cup team and getting seen more by your coach by going over to France, I think makes a lot of sense for him.
I don't like that league. I don't know why. I have a hard time following it just because I think it's one of the closest things to a farmers league that they have, and it just makes it really
beIN Sport. That's why.
Yeah.
I have beIN Sport now, but the production value isn't great,
right,
for that league.
Are they the ones that take breaks in the middle of games too? Isn't beIN Sports the one that was doing the AFCON stuff?
Oh yeah, they did the AFCON stuff. Yeah,
they take middle of the game breaks. I actually, I know they do take breaks because I was watching League 2, or however you say that, their second league, and I was watching a game one time, and they were just cutting in the middle of break, like corner kicks. I'm like, why?
Really, for commercials?
That? Yes, it was really stupid. Yeah, like when they were walking towards the corner, and then I'd come back and the ball would be going elsewhere. I'm like, why do you do that? I don't understand.
That's weird. I don't think I've ever had that watching them.
It's awful.
Could have been a Fubo thing.
Maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe Fubo's like, you don't need it.
But yeah, so that's his stats, and that's Ligue 1's tables. So their top goal scorer for Lens last year had 12 goals. So, obviously he can make an impact.
Mm-hmm.
He can get more than 12. We've seen it before, but can he do it at that level? That's what we'll be wondering about. But Lyon's top goal scorer, by the way, was Moussa Dembele with 21 goals, and they still finished 8th. Like, what was that? Let me see. Oh, so they scored more goals than Lens, but they gave up just 3 more goals and finished 1 point less. So I guess that makes sense. But yikes. Yeah, Kylian Mbappe, 28 goals last year, by the way. But we are not a Ligue 1 podcast, so we're gonna move on to Montreal's new crest, Logan. Let me have time to pull this up. I guess I forgot to get this ready. But yeah, they have. We talked about it last week. I think it was that they were officially finally doing that again, right? That they decided to rebrand because they upset their fans by changing it. And now they have unveiled what it is, and I'm about to share it here on the screen for the people who are watching, and we'll do our best to describe it for the people that may not have seen it. First thought, much better than what they currently have, right? I feel like the blue is a better color than what they're currently using. For whatever reason, that snowflake logo they have has very minimal blue, a lot of gray, and a lot of black, and just I feel like a very darker blue than this. This is like, I don't know, Blue Jay blue? I don't know. Yeah. How would you describe this? This is like almost royal blue. Probably royal blue.
Yeah, like royal blue, but they describe. I got their whole little breakdown of it.
Oh yeah, there you go.
They call it Impact Blue. I'm assuming that's because that's the predominant color that the club had. So they're calling it Impact Blue, but it's that same blue that they've had since 1993. It's like that darker blue, which I like that color blue. The snowflake, it was just strange to me. It didn't make sense. It was okay, because it's cold. I don't understand why the snowflake
I don't get it
but I really like it. It's got the accent over the E. It's got kind of that French flair, which is a distinctive trait that they like to put in their team name. But I like the shield. I love that. I don't even know how they would pronounce that. It's like Fleur de Lis.
Fleur-de-lis.
Okay.
Right.
Good on your French, but no, I like.
Except for RC Lens, I was just calling it the whole time.
I think it's like Lens. It's something strange. But yeah, I like it. I like the color. I like the black's very subtle in it. The logo. I like that little thing. I'm not going to try to pronounce that again.
Fleur-de-lis.
Fleur-de-lis. Okay. But I love it. I love it. It's way better than that other thing that they had, and it looks more chic than I think the older Impact. I don't like the old Impact one, but I know you do.
Yeah, I put out the tweet on Stateside Soccer Show saying that this is, I think, better than the Snowflake current one, but maybe a little bit more complicated than just the Impact one. And what I mean by that, for people that haven't seen it, I guess, you have a circle, and then in the circle is another circle, and then in that circle is the shield that overlaps that circle. It's got the fleur-de-lis in there. It's got blue and black stripes in the shield. And then on the bottom half of the circle, the big circle, it has the black and blue stripes that they usually wear on their kit. It's got 1993. And then in the top half, it says CF Montreal. So I was thinking you probably could have just done, I don't know. I hope this is not going to happen. What I really want to see on the kit is just the shield. Just the shield on the kit, and then your logo can be the circle with the shield in it. But I think just the shield on the kit would look really good. But they're probably going to just put the whole circle. Everybody's doing circular logos now.
Mm-hmm.
We had somebody, by the way, say that this was too basic. I feel like the Snowflake is much more basic. I kind of exchanged back and forth with them. They said that they feel the font is very basic. I can see that. The font is very just, I don't know, like default when you open up Word, Arial or Calibri. Just kind of
right.
It's just very basic. But it's a step forward from what they had. So I'm just glad they have the right blue again. I'm hoping that means the stripes are going to be on the kit again.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get back to that. You got the stripes in the shield and the stripes in the circle. Let's get the stripes on the kit. And I think it's a good move. This is what I wanted to kind of see from them when they said they were redoing it. I was like, watch them still mess it up. But this is why you're supposed to, research before you do this stuff anyway.
Yeah. Well, at least they were willing to change it. You know what I mean?
Well, most people, by the way, are still asking for the name Montreal Impact back. So you think they should be maybe still taking some notes, I guess. But yeah, who knows at this point?
Like Crew fans tried it. They didn't listen to them. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, they did listen to Crew at least with bringing back Crew instead of it just being whatever they were going to, Columbus SC or whatever. Okay, so we got a U.S. Open Cup here that I want to talk about real quick. We had in El Tráfico, the Galaxy moved on. Quakes Logan lose to Sacramento Republic. So now we got an LA Galaxy Sacramento Republic game on June 21st. We have Orlando moving past Miami on penalty kicks. Nashville moves past Louisville. Now we got an Orlando-Nashville matchup on June 29th. We had SKC beat Houston 2-1. And Union Omaha beat Minnesota 2-1. And that sets up an SKC Union Omaha matchup. Omaha has beat 2 MLS teams to get to this point. You have the Red Bulls beat Charlotte 3-1, and NYCFC beat the Revs 1-0, and that sets up a Hudson River derby for June 22nd. So we one of these teams, Logan, is going to be lifting that cup at the end of the year. I'm kind of pulling for the Sacramento and Union Omaha to lift that trophy, but I I know you're probably still rooting for your Orlando, but look, this is fun. A lot of these teams have not won a cup recently. Well, NYCFC have, I guess, but Nashville, Orlando haven't. LA Galaxy haven't in a long time. Sacramento, is a nice USL team. We have SKC, who've haven't had anything recently. Union Omaha again is another low level team. Red Bulls, it's been a while. This is a fun final 8, I think. What are your thoughts on these final 8?
I don't want Orlando to win it. I want Sacramento to win it or Union Omaha to win it because I'm always a big fan. Like that's the way I get some. Yeah, that's the way I get with Carabao, or Carabao or FA Cup, any of those little cups that or little teams that get into the big cup games. That I think that's more fun for them to win it. So I'm definitely rooting for those two. I don't know if they get past the other two teams.
Imagine Sacramento Republic lifting this trophy, Logan, and going to the Champions League. Right. Or Union Omaha. Like, that is so much fun.
Yes. And the other thing, too, about it is that Sacramento has had all that heartbreak. So, getting a cup for them, I think, would be huge, depending on what happens with them. And I doubt that anything actually comes to fruition with Sacramento because it does sound like it's going to be Vegas eventually. But, yeah, a lot of heartbreak there. The Hudson Derby's awesome. Like, that's an awesome draw for that portion of it, that leg of the I guess this would be quarterfinals, so that would be sweet to go see if you can see that in person. But then Orlando Nashville, that'll be a fun game. I think it'll be very defensive. Those two teams tend to lean on the heavy defensive side when it comes to when they play each other, so I'm looking forward to that. And obviously I'll be cheering on Orlando, but again, it seems to be the wrong time to try to play Nashville as they're starting to kind of turn a little bit. But no, I'm rooting for the other two, the USL teams, I guess. And then if they win that, it'd be fantastic. I think Sporting is very beatable. So.
Oh, they are. And if Union Omaha has already beat 2 other MLS teams, let's get it, right? Then they'd have to go up against, I guess, LA or SAC Republic.
Could you imagine those two playing against each other? Sacramento
guaranteeing a team in the final, that would be a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun. But here's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for an Orlando win, a Red Bull win, Omaha and Sac Republic win, because I do think Sac and Omaha could beat Orlando or Red Bulls compared to NYCFC and Nashville. So, with the way Orlando's playing. All right, let's get.
Yeah, you want Orlando out of all of it. Like out of all those teams, maybe except Sporting Kansas City, you want Orlando.
Yes, yep, those are the two you want to face right now.
You want to play them at home. You want to play Orlando at home.
And I think Orlando is hosting. I don't know.
Yeah. So.
All right, so let's go ahead and look at the MLS weekend results here. We'll start with the Sunday games, I guess, real quick. We had. Well, no, I don't know. I put these in the order that mostly the video had for the goals. As I was refreshing myself here. Before we get started on that, by the way, let's talk about these kits. Should we?
Yeah.
So they're for good cause. They're like something about the environment, right? But God, they're awful. They're so bad.
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody buys these things. I saw a lot of people buying them when they announced them. These are bad. One, they're bad because they don't I don't get the whole color thing with the environment
I don't understand it.
So maybe somebody has to explain that to me better. But it's jarring putting on a game, Logan, and not being able to instantly tell who somebody is. Thankfully, sometimes the scoreboard is telling you what color they're wearing.
Yep.
But I think from what I was watching, some of these scoreboards didn't have that. So I'm not sure. Plus, all the highlights look the same.
Yeah.
When I'm sure a casual fan turned on the Seattle game last night, and beforehand they're showing all the goals, and it literally looks like every team is wearing the same. Every team's wearing the same color, so it looks like you're watching the same game a million times. So I wonder if that confuses people too. It probably confuses people that are like, "Wait, I thought Sounders were green. What is this?" And then This is the worst offense. This is the worst offense, Logan. You can't read the numbers on either kit. Red on a blue kit, I couldn't read. I could read the white, so put a white font on the back of the jersey. The white kit with the pink writing, I can't read the names or the numbers. I don't know. And I heard commentators complaining about it. I heard one of them say, "I'm sorry if I misidentify anyone," because it's hard for them to see. Somebody scored a goal in that LAFC game. It was Rodriguez scores the winning goal, and they had to wait. There was a silence after they say goal because they had no idea who scored it. They had to wait for the close-up. That's the kind of stuff that hurts, and I get it's for a good cause this weekend, but isn't there another way to do this without them all being the same? Or why do we have to have the red logos and the red writing? Why can't it be white on the blue that sticks out? I mean, I don't know. This was a mess. They do it every year now, but one, I don't actually like the look of them at all. I would never buy one of these, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just old man yelling at cloud here, but what are your thoughts here on this?
I'm starting to think that they do it the only reason I can think of them doing it is because they're mass producing them and it doesn't change. It doesn't cost you more money to just slap logos on it. I think that is probably why they do it. I don't agree with the fact that they all look very similar. Like, isn't there a way to like color code them or something like that? Like, at least make them their team's color, and then you can have like whatever you want on it. But like, at least make it the team's color. I don't get why. Like, I still remember last year I almost bought the other one, but then as I saw it in person, it's ugly. They're ugly jerseys. Like, they're very like it's like blue and a weird orange, and they kind of went like lighter on both sides this year too. So I'm like, I don't get, and the white ones are awful. Like, you couldn't tell what was going on. It just looked like a bunch of white T-shirts, like people running around, and like you said, there were so many highlights of people going, and that person scored. Let me get that name real quick. Okay, that's that name. They only knew their players' names. Like, you had a hard time. Like, that would have sucked as a broadcaster because you'd been like, I can't tell who that is.
Well, here's something with it too. I'm looking at it on the store. Okay. And let me share this screen here because this is what is inconsistent about it too. I don't know who decides this. They're supposed to be red logo, red thing. Galaxy had white logo, white sponsor, and that was so much easier to read. Why couldn't we just do that? Same thing with LA. They had the black flex writing for their sponsor.
And
but some of the sponsors like Orlando's is in red.
Yeah. You know, those sponsors were like, no, you can't put that. You know what I mean? They're definitely
that's definitely what it is.
Yeah.
Especially with it being Herbalife, I feel like they were for sure like no, and Target like no, keep it white.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
You can't read those white ones.
You can't read it. I can barely read it on the store.
Yeah, I can't tell you that. Is that the Sounders up there on the right? Who's that?
This is Nashville.
I really can't read it. I like the idea of it, but like, can't you do it with just like, can't you do it like all year? Like, can't you just make these kits like their team's kits? Like, can't you do that? I don't get why. You know what I mean? Like, why not make their home kit this year like completely used out of plastic? Or, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, because what they are, for people that don't know, they are Prime Blue. They're called Prime Blue. They're high performance recycled materials and Parley Ocean plastic. They are made from plastics intercepted from beaches and coastal communities and shorelines. But it's so crazy. I have no idea how you can make a jersey out of this, but apparently it works.
Like, make them into their home kit for the year or something.
Yeah, and you know what? Cheap. You know what's weird is I do find a lot of people that like these are the ones that like the weird kits, but yet all of these are the same kit for every team. So I don't know. To me, that's lame. That's boring.
Is it all Adidas too?
Yeah, they're all Adidas kits. But I mean, I don't know if any other Adidas teams do this outside of here. But here's the thing too. I'm just a grump too because I don't like any of the stuff they do for baseball, like the I'm not a City Connect jersey fan.
No.
I don't like when they wear the military hats. I don't like when they wear
the
the
Mother's
pink
Day
hats or the
yeah.
blue hats. I don't like any of that stuff. So
yeah, the 4th of July ones are brutal.
Mm-hmm. Well,
you know what? They're all red, white, and blue. I'm like, why?
Yeah, Adley Rutschman gets caught up, and he has to wear that camo hat. Luckily, he's a catcher, so he didn't have to really wear it at all. But for his debut, he's wearing a whole different uniform than what he will wear the rest of his careers.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that can get a little upsetting. And then now try watching any of these highlights again a year from now, and you'll be like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Who is who?
Yeah.
It makes it very tough to watch.
Yeah. They're great causes, but there seems to be other things you could do. You know what I mean?
Like, and I have to keep reminding myself. I had to keep looking up at the scoreboard yesterday during the Seattle game and be like, wait, Seattle's
the white team.
Which one were they? Were they the blue? I don't even know. Were they the blue?
Yeah.
I had to keep looking up and tell myself, okay, they're this team. And when we're talking about growing the game, that's not going to help. But let's get to the actual games now. LAFC, we'll start with this one. They beat the Quakes 3-2, Logan. Quakes came from 2-0 down, by the way, to tie it up before Rodriguez gets the winner. Ibobasi gets 2 goals as well, as he is now at 9 goals for the season. Leads the team. He, remember, got traded from Portland because they kept stiffing him out on the wing, and now here he is playing centrally, and he's scoring a buttload of goals, just like I always believed he could. And also, we're on like the 100th pronunciation of his name because the announcer said it totally differently than what I just said. But has anybody actually asked Jeremy how he likes to say his name? Because I feel like everybody pronounces it differently, but I'm pretty sure I heard Ibobasi, but I don't know now.
Don't look now, though. Jeremy Ibobasi and Jesus Ferreira tied with 9 goals as the Golden Boot race is just heating up. It's 2 American kids leading the league ahead of all these big-time strikers that are going to be going elsewhere. Yeah. Valentin Castellanos beating him out, beating Chicharito. Take that, Mexico.
Yeah, how many assists does Fiera have? Because I have 1 assist for Ebo, but I don't know. I'm trying to find it.
Who, Ferreira?
Yeah, Fiera. How many does he have?
He's got 4 assists.
Okay, wow. So I guess he would win it, but they have Ibobasi listed first on MLS website. So
interesting.
Pretty sure you're supposed to put the person with assists first. So I don't know why they would do that, but it's a tight race is the main thing that we're saying here. Tight race. But just the spirit for the Quakes to come back from 2-0 down. And he had a really great goal, by the way. That second, I think it was the second one. It was the volley or whatever. It was a nice one. But they just couldn't hold on, and they finish giving up a goal. Finishes 3-2, and that puts them currently... LAFC is still 1, of course, but San Jose 13th place with 14 points. So 1 more point could have bumped them all the way up to like 11th near the Timbers, but fortunately they couldn't hang on. So there you go. But you're right. They lead the league in goals at Ibobasi and Fair with 9. Next best is Jerussi with 8. And then a whole bunch of 7s. I'm seeing 7s everywhere on this top team goal score thing. But yeah. Any thoughts on those two before we move on to the next one?
The Ibobasi goal was a good one too. Like, it was horrible defending by LAFC. But he gets one where it's like a cross and it gets to him and he volleys it in. And it's like, that was crazy. But I don't know. He's one that I too think that Greg just kind of slept on. Or slept on.
Slept on?
Yeah, there you go. Slept on. He sleeps on him. He sleeps on Vasquez. I think Jordy Mihailovic is now the one too that is a big sleeper. Those 3 I think are bound to determine to make themselves known. Like, you know what I mean? Because I mean, Jesus Ferreira, he has this kind of season, or he's had these kind of seasons in the past, and Jeremy's had better seasons. It's the same thing with Eric Williams. It's like Greg doesn't like Portland or something. Like he doesn't like anybody associated or attached to Portland. He's like, nah, I'm good. I'd rather not. But then he's obsessed with Roldan. So I don't know. Like he likes the Cascadia region, but not the Portland timber. Like I'm so confused.
He's a big Sounders fan.
I'm so lost in all of it. But again, you can't call on everybody. I know everybody kind of fits into a system, but Jeremy is out there. Like, why doesn't he just make these windows where it's like, okay, let's use some of these guys, because there's some hurt people. So like, let's use some of these dudes.
Yeah. Speaking of Bobacy as well, last year, 2019, he had 11 goals in 34 games. He's got 9 and 14 right now.
Yeah.
He had, what's 8 plus 4? 12? No, never mind. He had 5 goals last year, split between 2 teams. They had 8 in 2020 in 18 games. So he's actually even outpacing 2020, where he's had 18 games, 8 goals. He's got 9 and 14. Again, playing them centrally, it's a big part of that. So good for him. Did you know he used to play for Charleston?
Who, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Really?
2016 when he was 18. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
5 matches played, 1 goal.
Huh. That's pretty cool.
Okay, and then we had the Crew topple Atlanta 2-1. This one was in Atlanta? Right?
Yeah, in Atlanta.
Pretty sure. Yep. In Atlanta, and not a good performance from Atlanta at all.
No.
Atlanta does get a goal pulled, that they kind of pulled back one, but yeah, Crew just, it was like 1 or 2 minutes in, this goal happens. It happens really quickly, and that's pretty much all she wrote. That leaps the Crew, Logan, above Atlanta. They both have 16 points, but Crew now sit 9th. Atlanta sit 10th in the East.
I'm just laughing at the fact that if you look at our predictions, FC Cincinnati, Inter Miami, and Charlotte all sit ahead of the 3 that we thought might have had a chance to not be there. So I'm just dying from the idea that we've had those 3 at the bottom 3, and they're all 3 sitting pretty.
It's a tough thing to come in and be a good expansion team, so it's good for Charlotte that they're sitting 8th right now. They're kind of at this, Charlotte's at this kind of lose one, win one, lose one, win one, lose one. So I got my money that next game they're going to win one, is kind of how I have to look at it. But Swiderski has been kind of slowed down a bit too. He had 4 goals coming in pretty quickly and hasn't scored a lot recently. But yeah, Atlanta really struggling. At this point, it's not management for me. This is Carlos Bocanegra. This is how they've built this thing. He got an extension. He needs to go. There's no way. What we know now is that Tata Martino really was the reason for the success. Frank de Boer somehow came in and still won an Open Cup with this. But then everything since then has just been disaster. I don't even think I can really fault Pineda that much. They've had injuries. I don't think that they've brought in enough good players. They're spending money. Arthur Blank is opening that blank check. He's writing as much as he wants, but
he's shooting blank.
The issue is that they're really, really missing. They hit on Almiron, and then it's been miss the rest of the time. And what we're seeing now, when you see Doyle or other people tweet online and they're sharing these stats, the people that we're bringing in for 15 million, 6 million, 7 million to try to flip later are not producing to the level that some of these young Americans or older free agents are. I mean, Kai Kamara has come in. He's been an old free agent. He's 37 years old, and he's scoring goals. I mean, that's kind of where we're at right now. So I don't know how to really fix it. I would say what would go a long way is getting rid of Carlos Bocanegra. He's kind of been, the common thread throughout some of the issues they've had.
You got to cut the fat too. you talked about it. I mean, Santiago Sosa hasn't played much this year. He's got 6 matches. You got Ozzy Alonso, who's out for the year, 4 matches. You got Guzan, who's going to miss the season, 7 matches. Who else? Franco Ibarra, only 7 matches. Jose Martinez, 6. So guys they bring in that they felt were going to have impacts, just haven't had impacts. I'm looking, Miles Robinson's out for the year. They brought in John Dwyer, who had a good goal against Charlotte. But they've got so much excess that it is interesting. Like, they haven't had much success since that first run where they won MLS Cup. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Like you said, I think, they've got to look at internally and say, hey, this is a team that is not doing what we thought it would. And we're going to have to sell guys. I thought Araujo would probably end up somewhere else, given a little bit more time had he not gotten hurt. I think that's how good he is. Joseph is on, I think he's on the decline, obviously. Injuries prone, can't stay on the pitch, had a really good season or two, but really just hasn't been the same since. I would not want to be an Atlanta fan right now. You really would have wished they were resurfacing after last year, but it doesn't seem the case. And I think it's going to be a long road ahead.
They got to be careful. We've talked about this before of taking markets that are huge. And this was a surprise market. Nobody expected this to really work as well as it is. But they're not going to tolerate a loser.
No.
They get that from all their other sports.
I do. I felt like that's where you're headed. But yes, you're right. They've never really had a winning team except for the Braves. But.
Yeah, and right now the Braves are not doing so well.
No.
So be the one winning team there. Be the consistent winner. I know it's hard in this league. I get it. But I don't know. The Union are pretty consistently at the top. And they don't spend they don't even spend probably 10% of what Atlanta does. So they have to spend smarter. And they have to fire Bocanegra and bring in the actual, like, somebody new, I think. Or let the coach be more involved, I guess. I mean, I don't think Pineda was just a manager rebound that worked for that long. They did pretty well last year when they brought him in, and then, they're just missing on some of these signings. And that has to land at somebody's feet. LA Galaxy come back from 1-0 down, Logan, to Austin. All of these goals come after the 53rd minute. There was a missed penalty kick from Chicharito 4 minutes in.
Yeah.
But Joveljic, right, comes into the game in the 57th minute, and he's going to have 2 goals, 2 assists. He takes part in all 4 of Galaxy's goals, and they win 4-1 over Austin at home for LA, which is great. But this is exactly what Galaxy needed. I felt like they were starting to stumble again here, and this is really, they got to get Joveljic on the field, I think, more, and not have him coming in the 57th minute. LA Galaxy are up to 5th place. They're 1 point behind Austin, who was flying high at the beginning of the season. So they're starting to turn it around a bit.
Yeah, this is huge for them. We talked about it last week where they weren't scoring goals. They had 12 goals up until last week, or this week, sorry. And now they've got 16. They've got a total of 16. At least that's what FBref tells me. But the Galaxy needed this, and Austin's a good team. So to beat them, and I know it was a dignity, but to beat them with dignity, I think that was pretty good for the Galaxy. Austin, a little bit concerning there. A team that had been struggling, they just like you said, they just came undone, completely undone. I think it was the 2 goals that pulled them ahead were within like 3 minutes or 4 minutes of each other, I think, right? It was pretty quick. Where it was like 2 goals that were very close together.
So it was 53rd minute was Fagundes, 57th minute Joveljic comes in,
Yeah.
Chicharito scores in the 64th, assisted by Jovic. Jovic scores in the 64th.
Yeah, that's what it was.
He scores again in the 88th, and then he
Mhm.
assists Efren Alvarez in the 90th.
Yeah. Those first two goals felt like the undoing. I couldn't remember which ones were in succession, but it was just quick. It was so rapid, and then all of a sudden it was like everything fell apart for Austin, which they usually don't do defensively. They've always been pretty sound defensively since they've come in, and I know a lot of people have doubted their defensive prowess that they've had, but I think they've got good players in those positions. So I don't know. Like it was good for the Galaxy, really good to get 4, really bad for Austin. But like you said, I think they've got to get more games for the Serbian. I know he's played 12, but just 1 start. So should be interesting to kind of see how he slots in now. And I know Chicharito's up there, so where you put him, I don't know, maybe figure out something for him.
But hey, they played together in this game, so yeah. I'm sure you can fit it in somehow.
Kind of plays in like in behind, like maybe like a Sun kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like not quite a 2-striker system, but playing more as like a creative false 9 in behind, but it wouldn't be a false 9. Then it'd be more of that creative midfielder position that's tucked in right behind him.
Are you ready for some Austin stats, by the way?
Yeah.
24 points. They've given up 18 goals. 4 of those 18 come in this game. So they were on pace for really, really good goals against here. Also, they have 4 losses on the season. 3 of those in the last 5 games. So they started off winning a lot, even drawing. They only have 3 draws. 1 of those draws is in their last 5 games. So they really started off with like 6 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss. And since then, it's become 7 wins, 3 draws, 4 losses. You know, they have 24 points. They're 5 points back of LA now. They're at one point, they were like 1 point behind. And Dallas and RSL have leapfrogged them as well. They've all played the same amount of matches. So they're at that last home playoff spot right now before they dip down to where Galaxy and Nashville are on the rise. Houston is somehow in 7th place. And then on the outside looking in, you have Minnesota, Colorado, Seattle, Portland, Vancouver, San Jose, and SKC. All right, talking about Seattle, who has a lot of ground to make up. They come back from 1-0 down at home against Charlotte to winning 3-1 in what was pretty much a must-win game for them. Ben Bender, the Maryland boy, scores first. Guess what? I just found out I have a connection to Ben Bender, by the way. One of my coworkers' brothers is friends with Ben Bender. So we somehow got on the topic of that at this work event we were at, and that was a lot of fun to find out. But they have so Seattle have only played 12 games still, so they're 2 behind everyone else. They're at 16 points. If they win the games that they have in hand, that'll give them 6 more points. That puts them with Nashville with 22 points. So Austin and Houston, you know, Austin's got to look out because they're starting to fall, right? But you should be worried if you're 7th, 6th, or 5th, which the Galaxy, Nashville, and Houston are, because here comes Seattle now on the rise. Rui Diaz, by the way, scored this amazing goal on one of these. I think it was the second goal.
Yeah,
that gave them the lead or something. He's like dribbling away from the goal. Then he cuts at the top of the box and just whipped it in. It was amazing. But yeah, Seattle seemingly are back on the climb. Who knows? They've got 3 wins and 2 losses in their last 5. They really need to turn it on. Their top goal scorers, Rui Diaz and Jordan Morez, both have 3 goals. And they also both just scored yesterday. So they're going to need some more production when it comes to the ball in the back of the net.
I'd be scared if I was the rest of the league. This is not the team this is like playing with fire. This would not, like you said, Jordan. I think you and I both are kind of in this feeling of they're eventually going to get it right. And I don't know, like the hell they could go add somebody else now. I mean, it's to that point where you start to add in some fresh legs, and then all of a sudden this team becomes even scarier. So,
did I say 3-1? I think it was 2-1.
Was it 2-1?
I have in my notes 3-1. I don't know how I got that, but it just felt like a bigger win than I guess it was. I don't know.
I thought it was 3-1 too, and I would have been correct.
But FB Ref has 2, so
MLS does too.
Okay. So I was just crazy. All right, go ahead.
We're both crazy. No, but the 3 wins in the last 5, 3 in the last 4. Like you said, Rui Diaz and Jordan Moore scoring again. That's huge. And I'm just not convinced that Houston's a playoff team right now. While they're playing well, I think that would be the team that if I picked would come falling back out. Because they've been up, down, up, down, up, down. They're also one of those teams that lost, win, lost, win, lost. So, it'll be interesting. I think the top 6 are pretty solid teams, especially RSL. I was really I'm convinced that they have a good team. They just figure it out. Robin Fraser seems to have everything going correctly for them. So I don't know. Not Robin Fraser. Mastrioni, right? He's RSL. Why did I get those mixed up? I don't know. But
who knows?
Yeah, I think RSL and Colorado I just get mixed up all the time anyway. too close to the location. But anyway, I think Seattle. Yeah, I wouldn't want them coming up. That'd be scary.
All right. We have Red Bulls who win 4-1 against DC. There's some great goals in this, by the way. Lewis Morgan's goal for the third goal for the Red Bulls was pretty great as well. That puts the Red Bulls in 4th. They've kind of slipped a bit recently as this is their first win in the last 5 games. So they have 23 points. That's 3 points shy of their crosstown rivals or cross river rivals, I guess, with NYCFC, who have 26 points. Top of the East, Philly has slipped to 2nd with 25 points. Montreal is in 3rd with 23 points, and Red Bulls with 23 as well. So Red Bulls in 4th is where they stand. And DC, even with the manager change, Logan, it's not going so well. 13th place. They've played 13 games. They have 1 win in their last 5, and that came in May 7th. They drew with Miami. They lost to NYCFC. They drew with Toronto, and they lose to the Red Bulls. And that is how they're going. And thankfully for them, Chicago Fire have been worse, and they sit 3 points above Chicago with a game in hand, by the way. So that's where DC is currently sitting. So Red Bulls rightfully stomped them because DC has been pitiful this year. I don't know. Maybe they shouldn't have fired their manager. Who knows?
Or sold their best player who's having an MVP caliber season. Either one.
Yes, Paul Arriola, who we'll get to at the Dallas game, but he had a great game this weekend. Ola Kamara, by the way, still 6 goals. They wanted to get rid of him too, so they would have 6 less goals. I don't know what they're thinking, but it's kind of their thought process, I guess. Not much to say about DC, except for I apologize to all DC fans because as an original 1996 team who was the class of the league, deserve a lot more than what you're getting. So hopefully.
It's been a long summer break.
It's been bad. TFC beat Chicago 3-2. Kasper Shabilko gets on the score sheet for Chicago. TFC were actually down 2-1 at one point. Pozuelo scored a great goal as well in this game. But that leaves Chicago, like I said, in 14th place with 11 points. TFC sit 12th with 15 points. Guess what? TFC is only 3 points shy of 7th place for a playoff spot. That's how jumbled the East is right now. And surprisingly, Inter Miami sits 7th. We'll get to them in their game in a little bit. Montreal beat Cincinnati 4-3. Cincinnati took the lead early. There's a great goal by my boy Kyoto, by the way, that should have been stopped numerous times. He got lucky. I don't know how exactly this goal ever happened, but he got it in there. Kamara also had a great touch on the third goal that led to the goal scorer putting it away. And we also get bad news that Jordi Mihalovic left injured. I don't know if we know anything about the state of his injury because he's supposed to be called into the U.S. camp. So it'd be unfortunate if he has to miss that.
Yeah, no, there's not much. I figured with the holiday weekend that we wouldn't get much, but yeah, doesn't sound like we've got any kind of news, but.
New England 1-1 with the Union. Gustavo Bo has a penalty. Minutes later, Ura scores. Really bad clearance by the Revs. It falls right to Ura, who has an empty net to just put it away. New England probably should have won that game. That was home game for them. Orlando, home game for them, which means a loss for them. They lose 3-1 to Dallas. Kara starting to get hot, starting to score. Great header. But that's kind of the only plus side of Orlando. Areola ties the game up. Then there's some really bad defense from Orlando on the second goal. And then Areola scores his second, the third of the game for Dallas. Was another great goal for him as he's got how many goals right now? Less than 9 because Ferreira has 9. But he has 7 with 2 assists. So he's doing really well right now. Really well. So is Dallas. Dallas all the way up to, second in the West. This reminded me of Dallas of old, Logan. This is the Dallas that you never saw before. This is the Oscar Pereira Dallas, where they were constantly top of the West and threatening. And what a great way for them to bounce back after 2 losses, especially one to Vancouver and one to Minnesota. They come back and get a must-win game, I feel like, to help get them right back on the track and put them second. So good job from Dallas. They've been fun to watch this year. And Orlando, Logan, what's going on with Orlando at home? Why are they always losing at home?
I don't know. They play like really bad soccer at home, like really bad. I mean, mental errors, a lot of just coming undone, like unglued. And I think a lot of it has to just do with the fact that this just isn't a great team. Like this is a pretty average team, I think, in the East. Like I think we're pretty average as far as 5, 6 spot maybe. 4, 5, 6, very really reasonable, but that's that's kind of where Orlando just sits. I think it's a matter of one, you got a lot of new guys in, a lot of new blood in, trying to figure it out. You got some injuries that are concerning, but it just seems like we're never healthy. We never have all the same guys on the pitch, and that that's a spell for disaster in this league. I mean, you need some consistency in this league to thrive, and Orlando just hasn't been able to find it. They just it seems like there's these spells in the season where we just go 1 or 2 months where we just completely forget how to play soccer. So seems to be the case here.
Okay, how many home games have they won and how many home games have they lost? Do you know?
No.
I have it in front of me here. So they've
won 3 home games and lost 4?
Correct.
Hey, look at that guess.
That is correct.
Did we draw any?
No.
Oh, good.
No, they've only drawn 3 away games. But they're a pretty even team. They have 6 wins, 5 losses, 3 draws. I mean, they're pretty consistent with they're going to fall in one of those spots at the end of the day, the end of the game. But I don't know, man. Here's their wins at home: Montreal, Fire, Charlotte.
Yeah.
Their losses at home are against good teams, though. Well, Cincy, who's been decent, LAFC, Red Bull, and Dallas. So, I mean, they haven't really had that many easy games at home yet, I guess you could say, other than the Fire, which they did win. The last time they won a game at home, by the way, is April 30th, because they've had 3 straight away games before this Dallas match. They go back away on June 15th against New England, and then June 18th they face Houston at home. So the next best chance for a win at home is probably that Houston game, but then also they play DC United in July and Inter Miami in July. Back-to-back games. So we'll see how it goes with them, but they've had a tough stretch, but yeah, their home games have not been good. Okay. Inter Miami beat the Timbers 2-1. Campagna, right, is playing very well for Miami right now. He's got 7 goals for Campagna. And Miami, 2 straight wins after 2 straight draws. They only have 1 loss in their last 5. That was to Charlotte at the beginning of May. And they beat Red Bulls last week. So they beat Red Bulls. They beat a really bad Portland team who's 3 straight losses right now to San Jose, Philly, and Miami. But they're in a playoff spot right now. We'll see if that is going to continue or not. I would say most likely they're going to fall out of there. They have a -7 goal differential. I can't see them keeping it up. It's just that they've ended up at this point in the season. But, like the next positive goal differential is the Crew. And if the Crew keep it up, I could see them taking over at some point as well. And the Crew is only 2 points behind Miami.
The East is bad, man.
Yep.
It's bad.
It's really the top 4. It's really the top 4 is good, and then everybody else is not.
Yeah. Because, I mean, as well as FC Cincinnati have played, Inter Miami, Charlotte, I mean, Columbus hasn't been very good. Atlanta hasn't been very good. New England hasn't been very good. And then the bottom 3 are 3 of the worst teams in the whole league combined. So, like, I do want to say that they're good for them for beating these teams, but also, like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm just not going to – like you said, the top 4 teams in the East are really good teams. After that, I think they're all very mediocre teams.
Yeah. It's kind of what we're at right now. Minnesota lose to NYCFC, header by Kalins. That's the only goal of the game. Rapids lose to Nashville, 3-1. Nashville wins. Hani Mukhtar getting hot. He's got 2 goals in that game.
Extremely.
But yeah, Sapong also scored a very odd goal in that one. But okay, and then Whitecaps beat Sporting. There was a penalty kick that was a nice little Panenka chip. That was all that happened in that game. And RSL beat Houston 3-0. That helps RSL get to 3rd place in the East and leapfrog Austin. And with Minnesota losing, that keeps Minnesota out of that playoff spot, or else Houston could have slipped out of there as well. It's been a very mediocre season for not just the East, but both conferences. All right, that's mostly all the games there. We get some TV deal news. It sounds like Apple TV is pulling out due to geofencing. I think that means like we were trying to have them only have the rights for the U.S. and because they have deals with other stations overseas. I think Apple wanted them all, kind of like the way that they can play these MLB games on Friday nights in every country. Sounds like Apple might be pulling out. And it sounds like it might be going back to ESPN, Fox, and Unimas, with Fox taking less games. So we're kind of right back where we started.
Good.
I kind of like CBS. If we could get CBS or NBC to get involved, like
somebody.
Yeah, let's spread out more of these games, I think. But if they're not interested, they're not interested.
I hope the Golf Channel picks this up. Which would be NBC. But.
I saw all the golf people complaining. And I get it, honestly. If you have if I turned on Fox Soccer Channel and it was playing golf, I'd be like, what is this?
Yeah.
I want to watch soccer. I get it. I totally understand where they're coming from. Maybe they could have just put, this is why they could have kept NBCSN. They could have put the golf game on that, but then they would have put one of the Peacock games on Golf Channel anyway. All right, that wraps up the MLS action for the weekend. For the international break, we do have an international break coming up. We got one game next week.
That's our game of the week.
I was about to do the joke.
It's time for the Match of the Week preview.
Match of the Week preview is where we tell you what game to watch this week, and Logan's got it. The game of the week is June 4th, RSL versus Vancouver. It's the only game you're going to be able to watch. We got 3 games the following weekend. June 11th is Charlotte versus Red Bull, Nashville versus San Jose. June 12th is Sporting versus Revs. And then there's some midweek action. June 14th, Sounders versus Whitecaps. And June 15th, Revs versus Orlando.
Wow, I won't miss anything.
You won't. You really won't. What you will miss, though, is the real Match of the Week preview.
It's time for the Match of the Week preview.
Yeah, international edition. All right, so what we have coming up for you, June 1st, 7:30 p.m., USA versus Morocco. I saw somebody say that Morocco was actually the first nation to formally acknowledge the USA as an independent country in 1777. So that's pretty interesting.
I like them. They're nice people.
That takes place in Cincinnati at TQL Stadium on ESPN2 Unimas TUDN. I think that's from 11 Yanks on Twitter if you want to look that up.
Nice.
Then on June 4th, we talked about the Vancouver RSL. June 5th, we have USA versus Uruguay on the 5th. That's at 5 o'clock. It doesn't say what channel this game is on. Huh. Hopefully it's on somewhere. I'm assuming, I don't know why the website wouldn't have that. Now I'm going to have to look it up. SMT versus
Peru?
Uruguay.
I mean, your guy? Fox. Big Fox.
Is it Fox?
Yeah, Big Fox, Univision, and TUDN.
Wow,
Twitter.
Okay.
No, kidding.
Why would... Okay, MLS.
That's really
you're throwing
strange.
shade on Fox, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, you
look
tell
at
us
you.
where to watch the other one. Okay, and then the June 10th and all that, Nations League. We could talk about that next week because those Nations League should be on CBS or Paramount Plus, whatever it is now. I almost said CBS All Access. It's been a while since it's been called that. But yeah. What an exhausting episode. Talking about all that action that just happened. So yeah, we got USA games coming up. We got
Zach Steffen will be gone.
summer friendlies coming here as well. July 19th, Inter Miami versus Barcelona.
Heyo.
DC versus Bayern Munich. On July 20th. Minnesota versus Everton on July 20th. Charlotte versus Chelsea, July 20th. Orlando versus Arsenal, July 20th. And Red Bulls versus Barcelona, July 30th. So we got a lot of that stuff going on. All right, well, that about wraps us up here. I hope everyone has great rest of their Memorial Day weekend. By the time you're hearing this, it's probably already over. You're probably driving back to work. You're probably like, this is bad. That's probably what you're thinking as you're driving. That's what I'm going to be thinking as I drive. But hopefully we brought you some entertainment and kept you up to date on all the MLS action and prepare you for the U.S. friendlies coming up to get ready for Nations League. And more importantly, get ready for the World Cup that is coming up frighteningly soon, about 5 months.
Yikes.
5.5 months. There you go. I will be going to Everton Arsenal, by the way. That's going to be in Baltimore. Going to that. And then the next day, I go to Red Bull NYCFC in July.
Heck yeah.
So that'll be some fun-filled soccer weekend. That's in July. We're about to be entering June here in just a few days. So hope everyone is enjoying as we get ready for summer. You know what that means? It's going to get crunch time in MLS as the summer season comes in. We're going to get new signings, most likely. We're also going to say bye to some players as they leave their teams, like Buxa. If you want to give us a follow, you can follow us on all of your social media stuff at Stateside Show. And we will see you later. Well, actually, Logan won't see you for like a month, but I'll see you later.